Hey friends, it's Len here from 1A Auto. In today's video, I wanted to talk about some of the things you might want to think about if you've got high mileage on your F-250. For this video in particular, I want to talk about Ford F-250s between the year ranges of 1999 and 2007. So let's get under the hood. Let's move along to checking all our fluids, starting with the master cylinder. The master cylinder is supposed to hold your brake fluid for your braking system in your truck. It's a good idea to go ahead and open this up and take a peek in there. If it looks like it's low, you're going to want to add. If you haven't serviced it in a while, which this is something that people typically forget about, you're going to want to flush out the braking system with some .3 brake fluid. We're also going to have our power steering fluid right along the driver's side fender here. If you were to go ahead and open this up and take a peek inside there, you're going to want to inspect it. There's a little dipstick here, and of course, if it doesn't show up on the dipstick, that means the fluid's low. If you haven't serviced it in a while, it couldn't hurt to do a flush. Something you're definitely going to want to do is to check your oil. Not just the level, but also the condition of it. I'm just going to go ahead and pull out the dipstick and then bring it up here so we can get a nice clear view of it. Now looking at this oil, you can tell that it's extremely dirty and also low. This is going to be something that's fairly common, but something that we definitely want to pay attention to is any type of metal that you happen to see in the oil. So if I wipe it off and I look at this, if I see any chunks of metal or even copper in there, you know you have an issue. This is just dirty oil, so of course I would do an oil change and it should be good to go. When you do change the oil, you're going to use 520 oil, and of course you're going to change the filter at the same time. That leads us into checking your transmission fluid. You're going to do that the same way, except for the transmission, you want to have the engine running and the engine at operating temperature. Once it's running and at operating temperature, go ahead and pull out that dipstick and inspect your fluid. Now the fluid you're only going to want to be inside this hatch area here. For us, our truck is not running, so the fluid's extra high, but just inspect that fluid. If it looks like it's dirty or full of debris, then that's obviously an issue you're going to want to service. If you happen to notice when you're driving the truck down the road, it doesn't seem like it wants to shift well, it's probably due to the transmission fluid. Now let's move along to talking about our coolant. That's going to be located right up here. You can tell by looking at the side of the tank, you have a little level area, it tells you where it should be. Obviously, if it's low, you're going to want to add, but if you haven't serviced it, you're going to want to replace the coolant that's in there. To do that, you're going to want to flush the entire cooling system. Now let's talk about your belt, your tensioner, and your coolant hoses. Up along the front of the engine, you're going to be able to find your serpentine belt. It runs over all these pulleys. To look at the belt, you want to just inspect the ribbed area and see if you see any cracks. This one has a lot of cracks, so I know that I'd want to replace it. If I was going to be replacing it, I would of course grab onto the serpentine belt, give this a nice pull. We're going to watch that serpentine belt tensioner right down there. If it doesn't seem like it wants to retract or doesn't want to move at all, you know the serpentine belt tensioner has to be replaced. Let's take a look at our hoses. For these, you just want to kind of give them a squeeze. If it feels like they're dry and brittle or even cracked anywhere, you're going to want to replace them. Take a look at all of your hoses. You've got this coolant hose that comes up along here. We've got a PCV hose right here. This is just a cover, but if you can see underneath it, you just want to inspect it, make sure it's not dry rotted and cracked. Look at every other hose, just ensure that everything looks like it's in good condition. Of course, don't forget to check your air filter. Speaking of your air filter, if you come over here and relieve this clamp, you can remove this and then take a peek inside here. This is going to be where your throttle body is. There's a couple little butterflies in there. If it looks like it's got black going around them, that's carbon. It needs to be cleaned out. Now let's talk about the battery. Look along the battery and see if you see a sticker of some sort that has a date on it. If you see something that looks like this and it's over 5 years old, that means it's time to replace your battery. Of course, other things to pay attention to might be something that looks like this. This is corrosion. That's typically going to be found around the terminals. If you see that, but your battery's not necessarily very old, you can typically go ahead and clean that down. If for some reason you don't know how old your battery is, you can of course test it with a battery analyzer. If you don't have something like that, try testing it with a voltmeter. That way there you at least get an idea of what kind of voltage it has. Let's not forget about our spark plugs. They're going to be located right underneath this coil right here. Mentioning the coil, typically at higher mileages, you're going to start having issues with those as well. Now that we've finished up under the hood, let's start checking our steering and suspension. So now we're going to check out our front end. I'm going to do that with the front wheel up off the ground using a bar. I'm going to get right underneath the tire and I'm going to do this. I'm listening for a clunk. Can you hear it? I got a little bit of a clunk noise coming from there, so that's telling me that I've got something loose in here. Now I'm also going to come up in between the rim and the rotor just like this. Do the same thing. There's my clunk still again. So what we need to do, of course, is to look from behind. But before I get to that point, let's go a little side to side. Got a little bit of movement there as well. When we're testing for up and down movement, we're going to be looking right here at the upper ball joint and at the lower ball joint. Now when we're checking side to side, we're going to be checking all of our tie rod ends. And when you're replacing the tie rods, just pay attention to the threaded area. If it looks like this, that means that you're going to have to replace the area as a unit. Now let's talk about some suspension issues. Your front shocks could potentially leak. If that's the case, they're going to be weak. Also, you have front leaf springs up along here. Inspect them, see if you see a crack anyplace. If you see a crack on one of these, you know you got an issue. Aside from that, we have some sway bar links. Typically, the only thing that can go wrong on these is at the ball joint here. If you get a little bit of movement coming from them, you could try to add a little bit of grease if it's possible. If not, typically they need to be replaced. And it'll be the same process for the rear leaf springs, except you're gonna have a lot more of them. You got your rear shocks right there. Make sure you check them both. Any of the shocks need to be replaced, replace them as a pair. You're gonna wanna take a peek at your brakes, either from the back or through the wheels. If you look from the back, you got a clear view of the rear rotor. And then if you look right here, you can also see the brake pad. If they look like they're getting worn a little low, you could of course pull apart your brakes and inspect them a little bit better. Also, when you're looking at your brakes, look at your calipers. If you see a boot that looks like this, torn, that's gonna of course make it so moisture can make its way in there and your caliper's not gonna function properly. So of course, if your boot looks like that, you're gonna have to service it. Lastly on these, you wanna of course inspect your flex hoses. The flex hoses could potentially get damaged looking like this one. If that's the case, you need to replace it. Another place to pay attention to on flex hoses is along the coupler where it meets onto the line. If it looks like the coupler is rotting away, like this, you have a very big potential of this coming apart. So if it looks like that, go ahead and replace it. You also want to inspect your steel brake lines. If it looks as though they're in poor condition, maybe rotted and flaking, or even ready to fall apart, you're definitely going to want to replace those. Something else you're going to want to pay attention to is your body mount area here. You've got a rubber bushing on the top and the bottom here that's in between your frame and your body. If it looks like the rubber's in poor condition, when you replace these, you have to replace them all at the same time. Also, you want to pay attention to the metal area around it. A lot of times, right around the rubber, it's gonna rot out and you're gonna see that there isn't enough metal to even hold on to this rubber. Also, take a look under here, and if you see any rot, that's something that's gonna need to be dealt with. Just looking at this one, it's pretty much falling apart. Aside from that, double check your frame as well. You wanna ensure that your frame doesn't have any rot holes. A little bit of rust isn't a big deal, but if you can take your finger and put it right through like this, well, then you know you've got an issue. Since we're talking about the frame, let's talk about the fuel filter and the lines that lead to and from it. If you were to look at this, you can tell that it looks like it's in very poor condition. That's typically because, well, people forget about it. It's down here, it's along the frame. Who even thinks about their fuel filter? That's something that you definitely want to replace. Let's inspect our starter wire. This one looks like it's in very poor condition, coming apart. And then of course, let's inspect our ground wires. You're gonna have some that look just like this, except they should be attached. Let's have a quick look at our drive shafts. On the drive shaft, you're gonna find a U-joint in between this area here. The U-joint's gonna be very important. As the truck's driving down the road, the drive shaft's gonna be spinning, so the U-joint needs to be able to pivot and spin as well. What can typically happen is moisture makes its way inside the cups here, rots out the internals, and then you're gonna have an issue where you've got some movement coming from your U-joints. This can happen to any of them all the way down the line, including the front drive shaft and front axles. Obviously, your truck's gonna be a four-wheel drive. If that's the case, you're gonna have a transfer case in the center. There's a fill plug and a drain plug. You're gonna wanna service that if you're past due. Aside from that, you're gonna have a front differential in the front and a rear differential in the back. Check those fluids. If they need to be replaced, it's a good time to do it. Speaking of fluids, let's take a walk down the front of the truck here and look for leaks. We've got a transmission fluid leak. Look around the engine, see if you have any fluid leaks from that as well. Any leaks, obviously you're gonna wanna deal with. Of course, checking for fluids, make your way up to the front as well. We have a power steering box leak. Of course, that's gonna be a safety issue. Okay, friends, so that's what I've got for you for a video on things that I would check for high mileage on a Ford F-250. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, but these are very popular, reliable trucks. So make sure you take your time, take a peek at everything. That's gonna help you keep this going down the road for a longer period of time. If you wanna learn how to repair anything, go ahead and check out our YouTube channel. We have thousands of online instructional videos. I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned a little something. If you did, go ahead and smash on the like button for me. You mean the world. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell. That way there you can be kept up with all of our latest content. Thanks.